Hello, I am Nideze, and welcome to my very first YouTube video where I attempt to unlock all 121 achievements in Dead Cells. Before diving headfirst into what will likely be a chaotic mix of skill, luck, and questionable decision-making, let me quickly break down what this game is all about. Dead Cells is a fast-paced roguelike action platformer where no two runs are ever the same. Each attempt throws you into a shifting maze of biomes filled with enemies, traps, and opportunities to grow stronger through weapons, mutations, and upgrades, only to rip most of it away the moment you die and force you to start all over again. It's a game that demands mastery, tight controls, sharp reflexes, and the patience to learn enemy patterns through repeated, often painful failure. Now, across all that chaos, the game offers 121 achievements. Some are straightforward, like simply reaching a new biome or completing the game on higher difficulties, while others get strangely specific, like finishing an entire level without breaking a single door. And then there are the truly unforgiving ones, defeating bosses without taking a single hit. And here's the honest part. I love games, but I'm not exactly what you'd call good at them. Dead Cells, in particular, has a habit of absolutely destroying me. But that's exactly where things start to get interesting, because Dead Cells has a save, load feature, which means, technically, you can create your own checkpoint anywhere during a run, and if you use it cleverly enough, even someone like me will be able to beat bosses without taking a single hit. So with that slightly questionable strategy in mind, let's get started. So, we start off by literally falling out of a tube, and immediately possess this random corpse. We then run into this mysterious lady who barely explains anything, and naturally, the only logical thing to do after that is start murdering everything in sight. As we explore the prison quarters, we eventually come across our first scroll. Now, these scrolls are super important because they increase our max health and boost our damage depending on the stat we choose. So, quick tip, it's usually best to focus on one stat instead of spreading everything out. That way, we hit way harder instead of just surviving slightly longer for no reason. After wandering around and clearing out a bunch of enemies, we finally found the exit to the next level. Alright, now let's talk about the collector. Every enemy we kill drops cells, and these are basically our main currency. We use them to unlock new weapons, skills, and even outfits. Sometimes, enemies also drop blueprints. These let us unlock those items, but here's the catch, we have to reach the collector to actually secure them. Because if we die before that, all cells we accumulated during the run will be gone. Same goes for the blueprints. Next up, mutations. Think of these as perks that give us extra abilities during a run. For example, we might heal a bit after killing enemies, or deal more damage the longer we keep hitting something. And just like weapons, mutations scale with our stats. So again, it's best to pick ones that match our main build. By the time we reach the third level, we can equip up to 3 mutations. Anyway, enough about that. Let's go get our first achievement. Love the Serenity, unlocked for reaching the Promenade of the Condemned the first time. We'll rack up more achievements later on, but for now, we need to find runes so we can access new biomes. Moving forward, after taking down this elite archer, it drops our first rune, the Vine rune. We absorb it and unlock the Quit Tickling achievement. This rune lets us grow climbable vines, which means we can start accessing new areas and biomes later on. So yeah, this is where the map really starts opening up. As we ride up the elevator, we also stumble into a secret area, which gives us the Shrewd Sleuth achievement. Next stop is the passage to the ramparts. Here we got another achievement, the Arriba Andala, for opening our first time door. Now, there's actually a second door, but it requires us to get 60 kills without taking any damage. These doors usually contain bonus weapons, amulets, or items, but honestly, not really worth stressing over. Especially early on. Anyway, we'll keep dumping most of our cells into the basic upgrades, especially the health flask, because later in the game, those flask refills become way less common. Moving forward, we arrive at the ramparts for the first time and unlock a room with a view achievement. And to welcome us properly, we face an elite zombie. After taking it down, we unlock custom mode. We're not going to use it, because there's no achievement tied to it. Now, here's where we make our first real mistake. We didn't collect as many scrolls as we could in the earlier biomes. Because of that, we deal less damage. After clearing Rampart, we now arrive at the Black Bridge, which gave us finally a moment of rest achievement, and now we're facing our very first tier 1 boss, the concierge. There's an extra achievement here if we manage to beat this boss without taking any damage, so yeah, we set up a checkpoint, just in case we get hit. Since this is an early game boss, his attack patterns are pretty simple and easy to read. Now, here's the problem. This fight takes way longer than it should because we're severely lacking damage. At this point in the run, we should be sitting at around 8 to 10 in our main stack, but we're nowhere near that. So instead of a quick boss fight, this turns into a slow, painful grind. One important factor for a successful run is having a weapon that actually synergizes with our gear and mutations. Right now, we're using the Nutcracker, which deals critical hits whenever the enemy is stunned, frozen, or rooted. That's exactly why we're running the Wolf Trap here, because it roots enemies in place, letting us consistently land those crits. So the combo works, in theory, but the issue is our mutations aren't built for offense. We're running Necromancy for sustain, which helps us recover health, while the other two focus on reducing cooldowns. So instead of boosting our damage, we're basically just trying to survive longer and reuse our skills faster. That's exactly why this boss fight drags on. We've got decent control and survivability, but not enough damage to finish things quickly. But hey, even with low damage, we'll get the job done. Eventually. There we go, 2 achievements at once, the Fat and the Furious achievement for defeating the boss for the first time, and Steamrolled achievement for beating it without taking any damage. Now, every boss in this game has these 2 achievements, beating them the first time and beating them without taking a single hit, so yeah, we're definitely going to hunt them down one by one. We also got Here Comes the New Challenger achievement for unlocking the daily challenge. We'll come back to that later, since there's another achievement tied to completing one. No need to rush it right now. Now, let's talk about the blacksmith. This guy can only be found on passages after a boss level, and he upgrades the quality of our gear, which is huge if we want stronger weapons and gears. The only problem? He's expensive, like, really expensive, so the plan is to invest around max of 500 cells into him from time to time while still saving cells for unlocking items tied to future achievements. Anyway, enough spending. Let's move on to the next biome. Reaching Stilt Village for the first time gives us My Fish is Fresh achievement. In this level, we need to find a few keys to unlock doors and progress further. Most of the enemies here aren't too bad to deal with, except for those pirate guys. After searching around for a bit, we managed to find all the keys we need. But then, we got cursed by an elite enemy. Now normally, that's a terrible thing, but this time, it actually works in our favor. Cleansing our first curse gives us another achievement. Now moving into the next level, the Clock Tower gave us the Tick-Tock achievement, and it's a good time to cleanse and explain how curses work. We unlocked the Absolution achievement for cleansing our first curse. Now let me briefly explain curses. If we take any damage while cursed, we die instantly. Doesn't matter how much HP we have, one hit and it's over. The only way to remove a curse is by killing enemies until the counter drops to 0. Simple in theory, stressful in practice. In this level, we need to find a key that unlocks the elevator leading to the Tier 2 boss. So after carefully exploring, and actually grabbing as many scrolls as possible this time, we finally found it. We head up and enter the clock room for the first time, unlocking the High Drama achievement, and proceeding to our next boss fight. Of course, we set up another checkpoint. Now, this boss, the Timekeeper, is definitely harder than the Concierge. But at the same time, this boss fight is satisfying. Her animations are clean, her attacks are fast, and everything just feels smooth. She throws shurikens, dashes across the screen, and even uses a hook. Anyway, after pushing through the fight, we finally take her down. And just like before, 2 achievements at once, Blade Master for beating her the first time, and the dance for not taking any damage. Moving on to the next level, High Peak Castle. Reaching this area for the first time gives us please leave your shoes at the entrance achievement. Since this is the final area before the last boss, the enemies here are no joke. Everything hits harder and punishes mistakes way more. We also need to find 3 keys to progress. Technically, only 2 are required. The third one is for an extra scroll, so let's be real. We're grabbing all 3. We need all the power we can get. Unlike in Stilt Village, the keys here are held by elite enemies. So yeah, we actually have to earn them. After clearing mobs, exploring thoroughly, and collecting every scroll we can find, we finally gather all the keys. Which means, it's time to enter the throne room, unlocking Bend the Knee, I think not, and finally face the last boss, the Hand of the King. Now, honestly, this is our least favorite boss. Not just because he's hard, although yeah, that's definitely part of it, but because this guy is going to torture us in future runs. Of course, we set up multiple checkpoints here. No way we're risking everything at this stage. And after a tough fight, we finally take him down. And there we go, 2 more achievements. The last rampart falls for beating him the first time, and do you need a hand? For not taking any damage. Actually, make that 3, because absorbing the first boss stem cell he drops gives us surgical extraction. And now, for our first ending. It's time to kill the king. Because apparently, that's just what we do. And just like that, the king goes out, Yubayashiki style from Demon Slayer. But wait, we survived? Yeah, that's probably our cue to leave. And just like that, our first run comes to an end, where we managed to earn 20 achievements. That's huge. Anyway, time for the second run. Now, for our second run. The giant skeleton that used to be lying here is gone. Yeah, that's not ominous at all. Let's also talk about the boss stem cell. We can use it here to increase the game's difficulty and to progress further. Then we have to beat the game again to earn another boss stem cell and repeat the process. It sounds rough, but honestly, higher difficulty isn't all bad. Because the harder the game gets, the more cells enemies will drop, so in a way, it actually helps with progression. Now, about that giant, he's actually another boss we'll need to fight later, but to access him, we first need to get the cavern key. We're not going for that just yet though, we'll do it later in the video. We also run into Richter Belmont, who asks for our help against some upcoming evil. This is part of the Castlevania DLC, which we will explore later, but not right now. And remember that lady from our very first run? Yeah, she's dead, no idea what happened, but after giving her a quick kick just to check, we get a blueprint and a few coins. So, not a total loss, I guess? Back in the prison quarters, we make sure to grab every single scroll before moving to a new level. We are not repeating the same mistake from the first run. Moving on, we enter the toxic sewers for the first time and unlock What's That Funky Smell achievement. We also meet this prisoner who apparently lost his rune and asks us to find it. And of course, we agree, because we're the helpful type. While exploring the sewers, we make sure to grab every scroll we can find and take down elite enemies. There's an achievement for killing 100 elite enemies, so yeah, this is going to be a grind. Eventually, we find the location of the rune. The prisoner said it was down there, and sure enough, it's being held by an elite slasher. We managed to dodge all 3 of its attacks and take it down cleanly. It drops the teleportation rune, and we got what are you rubbing anyway? Achievement for absorbing it. Now we can use these monoliths to teleport to other monoliths, unlocking even more areas and biomes later on. Then I actually went back to return it to the prisoner, but he's gone. Cool, guess he didn't want it back after all. Anyway, back in the ramparts, same plan as always, grab all the scrolls and get out. Since we're playing with one boss stem cell active, new enemies start appearing in every biome. That's one of the main effects of increasing difficulty. Fewer flask refills, stronger and more aggressive enemies, and eventually enemies will be able to teleport to us and even spawn continuously. So yeah, it gets crazy later on. Now we're back again at the Black Bridge, facing the concierge again. Since we already got all the achievements for this boss, we're not really trying to play perfectly here. We take a few hits, play a bit more relaxed, and eventually take him down. Now that that's done, it's time to head into a new biome, Fractured Shrines. And just like that, we unlock Skyfall achievement. Welcome to the Fractured Shrines. This place is basically a bunch of floating islands, which means one wrong step and we're falling straight down and taking damage. No pressure. On top of that, the area is filled with traps everywhere and of course, these annoying birds. We also come across our first cursed chest. Opening this always gives us a colorless weapon, some gold, and a scroll, but in exchange, we get hit with 10 stacks of curse. So yeah, high risk, high reward. Now, colorless weapons are actually really strong because they scale with our highest stat. So we swap our current weapon for the symmetrical lance, which deals critical hits for 6 seconds after quickly killing 2 enemies. Also, you might have noticed that we're still using the basic shield. And yeah, that's intentional. There's an achievement for finishing the game using a basic item, so we're sticking with this setup until the end of the run. After clearing our curse, we come across these giant enemies that guard special doors. Once we defeat them, we can access the treasure inside, which usually includes legendary weapons or gear. Like this one right here. Legendary items are especially powerful because they come with stronger affixes and sometimes even exclusive ones. So if we find one that fits our build, it's almost always worth using. At some point, we also switch bodies into one of these cultist-looking corpses. It's actually required if we want to access the Undying Shores in this biome. We basically have to blend in to get through. We even get the Trapped Trapper achievement for using the enemy's own traps against them, and another one called the Cowl does not make a monk for wearing the cultist outfit and opening the path to the Undying Shores. Moving on to the Undying Shore, we got another achievement, Beware the Step. We also got the First Aid achievement by letting this apostate revive 3 enemies at once. After clearing them out, we come across 3 doors that basically force us to pick one. No hints, no clues, just pure guesswork. Luckily, we pick the right one and get a blueprint inside. We'll take that. With the colorless weapon we're using right now, we're absolutely shredding through enemies. Everything just melts, so after making sure we've collected all the available scrolls, it's time to move on. Next stop, the Mausoleum. Reaching this place gives us Blade and Rose's achievement. In this level, we're going up against the Scarecrow, a tier 2 boss. Now, aside from the usual 2 achievements every boss has, there's also another achievement here. We have to defeat him without bouncing on any mushrooms. And that's easier said than done, because throughout the fight, the Scarecrow spawns mushrooms all over the arena, and if we jump over them, we bounce. So the entire fight becomes this careful balancing act of dodging attacks, dealing damage, and not accidentally stepping on a mushroom. So yeah, we have to play this one extra carefully, avoiding mushrooms while still keeping up the pressure. But after a tough fight, we finally took him down. And just like that, 3 achievements at once. Watering Time, for beating the boss, Green Thumbs for not taking any damage, and in Mushroom, we Trust for not bouncing. Now, moving on to the next level, we head into the derelict distillery, granting us the cheers achievement, and yeah, this place is painful. This biome is packed with stray bombs that bounce around, so basically everything here wants to explode in our face. We also accidentally get the "we've all been there before" achievement for doing a downward smash straight into spikes. Totally planned. Now, there are actually 2 more achievements tied to this level. The first one is called Return to Sender, which is unlocked by killing an enemy by sending their own bomb back at them. And the second is for finishing the entire level without using the barrel launcher. Normally, the barrel launcher is super useful here. There are a lot of breakable walls in this biome, and the safest way to destroy them is by using it rather than risking our life bouncing around these stray explosives. But for the achievement, we're doing this the hard way, after carefully making our way through all the chaos and grabbing every scroll along the way. We finally find the exit, and of course, we get Born Sapper for not using the barrel launcher. Now it's time to face the hand of the king again. But since we've already completed his achievements, we can just fight him normally this time, no pressure. And this time, we're stacked. We're sitting at around 20 brutality, and with our powerful colorless weapon, we absolutely melt his health bar. And there we go, we unlock Masterful Extraction for obtaining our second boss stem cell. By the way, this locked room here, we can't open it yet. We'll need 5 boss stem cells to access that later on, where we will proceed with our final run. So yeah, something to look forward to. Anyway, time to end the run. And we pick up 2 more achievements. What? There's nothing wrong with these for finishing the game with a basic item, and up, guards, and at them again. For completing a run with an active boss stem cell. And now, for our next run. It's time to activate 2 boss stem cells. We'll start encountering deadlier enemies much earlier in the run, and the health refills, yeah, they're basically gone. At best, we get a single flask charge. At worst, nothing. Anyway, our goal here is to unlock some specific achievements, starting with finishing the prison quarters without breaking any doors. So yeah, we have to be extra careful here, grabbing scrolls, finding the exit, all while making sure we don't accidentally smash through a door. Eventually, we find the exit and unlock the Gentleman achievement for clearing the level without breaking any doors. Since we've already played Brutality and Survival in previous runs, this time we're going with Tactics. After picking our mutations, we head into a new biome, the Arboretum, and just for stepping in, we unlock the Go Play Outside achievement. Now, there's actually a blueprint we want here, the Mushroom Boy. He's dropped by these Mushroom Boy enemies. Normally, the easiest way to get blueprints is by using the Hunter's Grenade, which lets us extract them directly, but since we don't have it yet, we're relying purely on RNG. So after clearing most of the biome, no blueprint of course. So we move on. Next biome is Morass of the Banished, where we unlock the mud is getting warm, so you might as well swim. Man, these achievement names are getting long. This is where we'll need the Mushroom Boy. He's a summon that attacks enemies, and we can detonate him for a huge burst of damage. Now, there are actually 3 achievements tied to him, making him explode, sacrificing him at an altar to skip a boss, and finishing the game without ever detonating him. And yes, we can get all 3 in a single run, with the help of checkpoints of course. But we'll get to that later. Anyway, after clearing the biome, it's time to move on and prepare for a new boss. As usual, we dump most of our cells into basic upgrades, but we make sure to keep at least 100 cells on us. That's for another achievement we're going for. We arrive at the nest for the first time and unlock the Knee Deep in Mud achievement. Now, let's talk a bit about our weapon. We're using the Electric Whip, which can electrify water, causing critical hits to anyone standing in it. And since we're literally fighting in water, yeah, this is going to hurt the boss. We're going up against Mama Tick, another tier 1 boss. While learning her attack patterns, we eventually died to her, but this is where we unlock the Oh That Hurt achievement for dying while carrying over 100 cells. Don't worry though, we've been setting up checkpoints this whole time, so we're not losing progress. After a tough rematch, and with a little help from our checkpoints, we finally took her down. And just like that, we got I Got My Eyes on You for defeating her, and take that, sucker, for beating her without taking any damage. Now it's time to move on. Now, here in the passage leading to Stilt Village in the graveyard, since we can't access the graveyard yet, we'll go back to the Stilt Village. Same routine, clear the level, grab all the scrolls, and get out. From there, we move on to a new biome, and of course, new biome means another achievement, Afraid of the Dark, unlocked for reaching the Forgotten Sepulchre for the first time. Now this biome has a really interesting and stressful mechanic. We can't stay in the dark for too long. If we do, the darkness literally starts draining our health. So while exploring, we constantly have to look for light sources to reset the timer. Which means we're not just fighting enemies, we're fighting the environment too. Now, aside from the biome achievement, the main reason we came here is to get the exploration rune. This rune reveals the entire map once we've explored most of the level. At first, it sounds kind of useless, but it actually highlights important points of interest like scrolls, chests, and merchants, so we don't miss anything, which is huge for optimization. Anyway, after navigating through all the darkness and grabbing what we need, we found the exit. This time, it leads to the clock room, which means we're fighting the timekeeper again. And yeah, she didn't stand a chance. And now, we're back once again at High Peak Castle. After collecting all the keys, we also pick up the boomerang blueprint, which finally unlocks /roll for collecting 10 weapon blueprints. Now it's time for round 3 against the Hand of the King. But this time, we're doing it the tactical way. Since we're running a tactics build, this fight plays out very differently. Less brute force and more calculated damage. To be fair, he actually puts up a decent fight, but in the end, he gets completely overwhelmed by our legendary electric whip. And just like that, he goes down again. And with that, we unlock Artful Extraction for absorbing our third boss stem cell and finished, without fear for completing the game with 2 boss stem cells active. Now with 3 boss stem cells in our hands, it's time to ramp up the difficulty again and switch up our outfit for a fresh look. This time, we're aiming for biomes we haven't visited yet, like the ossuary, which gives us the Smells Like Burned Flesh achievement. We got here by passing through the Promenade of the Condemned and using the teleportation rune. Along the way, we also pick up the Iter Oris Lee Ox mutation. This mutation prevents us from dying once while not cursed, and there are 2 achievements tied to it. One for triggering it and one for finishing a run without triggering it. And of course, for the achievement, we trigger it immediately and unlock the YOLO or not achievement. We also came across the Ram rune and unlocked the Labrute achievement for absorbing it. With this rune, we can now break certain floors using our downward smash. Oh, and we also find a 4 times colorless bow. This multiplier means the weapon's damage is 4 times increased, but so is the damage we take. Higher damage for higher risk of dying. Now, you guys might expect that I would reload a checkpoint after using Iter Oris to get the other achievement for not triggering it, right? Well, I actually did that, but I completely forgot about the achievement. So when it triggered again and saved us from a very bad mistake, it didn't cross my mind to reload a checkpoint. So yeah, I guess we'll have to pick up the mutation again in a future run. Back at the Black Bridge, because of how powerful our weapon is, we did not even bother picking the right mutations. The damage is already high enough to melt the boss. The only real issue is ammo. There are mutations that help with this, but we haven't unlocked them yet, so we just work with what we have. Later in the run, we unlock the Scarecrow Sickle, which we'll need for an achievement in the Stilt Village. Our goal here is to kill 5 enemies using the sickle. Our first few attempts don't go well, but eventually, we manage to pull it off and unlock a cut above achievement. We also killed ourselves on an elevator before proceeding, which gives us the They Came From Behind achievement. There's another achievement for killing an enemy with an elevator, and we'll get that later. For now, we move on to a new biome. Reaching the bank for the first time unlocks the Bank Always Wins in the End achievement. This place has a really interesting mechanic. It allows us to borrow money. There are 2 achievements tied to this biome. The first is finishing the game with maximum debt, so we borrow as much as possible and don't pay it back. The second is defeating the Vendor Mimic, an enemy disguised as a merchant somewhere in the biome. These mimics won't attack unless we buy something from them, so we check every shop one by one. We also get locked into a puzzle section where we have no choice but to parkour our way through it. The reward is the gentleman outfit and some gold, so we'll take it. Eventually, we find the mimic. It's fast and aggressive, but it doesn't stand a chance against our frost blast and bow. After defeating it, we unlock the Bag of Tricks achievement. Now that we're done here, we can finally leave, and since we're not paying our debt, we get hit with 100 curse stacks. Lovely. This is where checkpoints really come in handy. As mentioned earlier, taking damage while cursed ends the run instantly, but with checkpoints, we can retry as many times as we need. That's how we managed to get past the Timekeeper while under 100 curse. Back at High Peak Castle, after grabbing all the scrolls and a few blueprints, we unlock the Pimp My Ride achievement for unlocking 10 skills. Now, this is where things get rough. Fighting the Hand of the King with a ranged weapon, no shield, and under a curse is not a great combination. Our weapon hits hard, but it doesn't have infinite ammo, which forces us to wait for it to reload. And since we're not using a shield, our only options are dodging or freezing the boss while we wait. On top of that, when the boss is frozen, it becomes harder to read his attack animations, which makes it even easier to get hit. This fight took a lot of attempts, and honestly, it gets pretty frustrating. At one point, I even considered restarting the run, but with enough retries, we know we'll eventually get through it. And there we go, we finally beat him. We also unlocked Deft Extraction for absorbing our 4th boss stem cell. Up to the Eyeball in debt for finishing a run with maximum debt. And Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger for completing a run with 3 boss stem cells active. Now it's time for another run, this time with 4 boss stem cells active. Right at the start, we got a letter telling us to meet someone in the sewers, so we headed down to the toxic sewers and met the fisherman. He tells us he's looking for a ship to escape the island and points us toward a lighthouse in the north, and suggests we visit an old keeper in the Stilt village. It definitely sounds important, but we'll deal with that later. For now, we want to focus on exploring new areas. So instead, we make our way into the ancient sewers, a biome we're visiting for the first time. For some reason, though, the achievement tied to it doesn't pop up, so we'll probably have to come back here later. We also pick up the Itter Oris Lee Ox mutation again, this time to properly complete its achievement. There's not too much going on in this biome aside from collecting keys that unlock some free loot, which is nice, but nothing too exciting. After clearing through, we move on to a new boss area. Reaching the Insufferable Crypt for the first time unlocks Even the Rats Avoid This Place achievement, and here we face Conjunctivius. Just like Mama Tick and the Concierge, this is another Tier 1 boss. After a tough fight and a few checkpoint reloads, we finally take it down and unlock Is There Something in Your Eye for beating it and Flawless Victory for doing it without taking any damage. From there, we continue into another new biome, the Slumbering Sanctuary, unlocking the Fortune and Glory Kid, Fortune and Glory achievement. This place also has a pretty interesting mechanic. All those petrified enemies we see at the start will eventually wake up once we awaken the sanctuary, which we have to do if we want to progress past the orange doors. So there's no way out without making things a lot more dangerous. This is also where we find the Spider Rune, which will finally give us full access to every biome. But first, we have to defeat an elite caster. After taking it down, we absorb the spider rune and unlock the Incy Wincy achievement, which lets us run along walls. With this, we can now reach areas that were completely inaccessible before. After awakening the sanctuary, we carefully fight our way through the now much more dangerous biome and make it to the exit. From there, we face the Timekeeper once again and push our way back to High Peak Castle for another showdown with the Hand of the King. This time, we're expecting our 5th boss Stem Cell, but instead, he drops a letter. Turns out, the 5th boss Stem Cell isn't here after all. It's with the giant. Even so, we still wrapped up the run strong. We unlocked Never Fallen for finishing the run without triggering Iter Oris Leox, and let's get down to the nitty-gritty for completing the game with 4 boss Stem Cells active. Now for our next run, our goal is clear. We're going after the 5th boss Stem Cell from the giant. We switch up our outfit again for a fresh look, and remember the prisoner from our second run? We meet him again at the toxic sewers demanding us to give back his rune. Of course we did not give it back because it serves us much better anyway. This time we head back to the ancient sewers. Thankfully, it works properly now, and we finally unlock Who Needs an Italian Plumber achievement. From there, we fought Conjunctivius again. We'll actually need to defeat her one more time later so she can drop the Cursed Sword blueprint, which has its own achievement. As the name suggests, using it makes us permanently cursed, but it deals massive damage and always crits. After taking her down, we move on to a new biome, the Graveyard, unlocking the Dead Center of the Island achievement. There's nothing too special here in terms of mechanics, but this is where we gain access to the cavern. With the cavern key in hand, we push forward into the level and move forward in the cavern itself, and unlock the You Dig achievement. This place is no joke. It's filled with lava, explosive traps that pull us in before detonating, and enemies that can't be damaged from behind. Definitely one of the more dangerous biomes we've encountered so far. While we're here, we take the opportunity to lure an enemy under an elevator and crush it, unlocking the Going Down achievement. After exploring a bit more and grabbing what we need, we move on to the Guardian's Haven, where we unlock Hot and Cold for reaching it for the first time. And now, it's time to face the giant. Before the fight begins, he gives us a bit of dialogue. It's time to murder each other. With the build we're running, we absolutely shred through the fight. And just like that, the giant goes down. In return, he gave us the 5th boss Stem Cell, and we unlock 3 achievements at once. Size doesn't matter for defeating him. David and Goliath for doing it without taking any damage, and Perfect Extraction for absorbing the 5th boss Stem Cell. Huge progress. Now that we've got what we came for, all that's left is to defeat the Hand of the King one more time, and move on to the next run. And now for this run, we'll be exploring the Castlevania DLC and working toward the achievements tied to it. Even though we already have the 5th boss Stem Cell, we're sticking with 4 for now and focusing on everything else first. We'll save the full 5 boss stem cells for the final run of the video. As we enter the passage to the castle outskirts, we immediately notice some changes. Certain NPCs are replaced, like the Collector, who is now Shinoa, but she still functions the same way. Now, I haven't played any Castlevania games before, so I don't really have much knowledge on these characters, but we'll roll with it. Just by entering the castle outskirts, we unlock the Am I Still on the Island achievement. As we move forward, we activate a lever to bring down a bridge and continue through the level. The enemies here aren't too difficult to deal with, so we push through without much trouble. While exploring, we come across a coffin and accidentally wake up Alucard. He tells us that his father is about to come back to life and that we need to stop it. We also find his shield hidden behind a lore room. Even the merchant looks different here, probably another Castlevania character, though we're not entirely sure. Later on, we run into another character, but she's locked behind a door that requires the ribbon key. After doing a bit of research, we learn that the key comes from catching a cat roaming around the level. So we went back and searched for it, and somehow, we did not find a roaming cat. After running around for a while and getting nowhere, we decide to leave it for a future run since it's tied to an achievement anyway. So instead, we move on and explore a new biome. Reaching Dracula's castle unlocks into the Vampire's Den achievement. There's nothing too complicated about this area, aside from the obvious Castlevania theme and few new enemies. After exploring a bit and picking up a new ranged fire weapon, we move on to the next level. After spending all our cells on upgrades, we head into the Master Keep. But out of nowhere, a massive chain grabs us and drags us down into a completely new area, the Defiled Necropolis. Unlocking Don't Fear the Reaper achievement. Here, we face death as a Tier 1 boss. As usual, it took some time to learn his attack patterns, using checkpoints to help us practice and aim for the no-hit achievement. After a long and intense fight, and with the help of our checkpoints, we finally took him down. This earns us death comes for us all, but not for you for defeating him, and dodge death for doing it without taking any damage. Before leaving, Alucard warns us that his father has already been brought back, making things even more urgent. But after continuing the run and eventually dying in Stilt Village, we learn something important. Alucard tells us that we can only enter the Castlevania DLC once per run, and that we can access Dracula's castle again through the clock room. So at that point, I decided to restart the run and follow his advice. Now back at the castle outskirts, this time we actually managed to find Maria's cat. I wasn't able to record it, but it works just like this. There's a cat roaming around the level, and once we catch it, we get the ribbon key, which lets us unlock the door and free the lady. We also get Maria's cat as a pet after interacting with it. Anyway, we need this cat to land the final hit on death to unlock a specific achievement, so we make our way back to him. After a few attempts, it's only a matter of time. And there we go, we unlock I Still Have 8 lives for defeating death using the cat. Since we've already entered the Castlevania DLC in this run, we won't be able to re-enter it again, so it's time to move on and visit the Queen. Along the way, we also unlock the War Owl, which helps us get another achievement, Herder, for having 2 pets active at the same time. Remember what the fisherman mentioned earlier? We needed to visit someone in the Stilt Village. This is the place. After taking down an armored shrimp, we find a corpse that drops the crowned key and a leg hugger. Now this leg hugger comes with 2 achievements, one for evolving it by letting it attack enemies, and another for making it kill an armored shrimp. Interestingly, the one we picked up is legendary, which means instead of 1, we get 2 summons at the same time. We also pick up the Scavenge Bombard blueprint from a pirate captain, which is tied to another achievement we'll work on later. As we continue, we focus on evolving the leg huggers, and after some time, we unlock how fast they grow. Not long after, we also got not so tough for defeating our 100th elite enemy. With the crowned key, we move on to a new biome, where we meet the fishermen again and sail to the infested shipwreck, unlocking Iceberg Right Ahead achievement. This biome is where we can find armored shrimps, so we take the opportunity to let our leg huggers deal the final blow to 1. After a few tries, we finally unlocked You're Not My Family achievement. While exploring, we also collect map pieces dropped randomly by enemies. Once we gather all 4, they combine into a map that leads us to a hidden area where we find a forked key. Using it unlocks a door that rewards us with a trident, which we don't even end up using. Still, we'll take it. After finishing the biome, we move on to the lighthouse, unlocking 8th Wonder. And honestly, this might be the hardest part of the game. This entire biome is basically one long boss encounter. We have to climb a burning tower while being chased by boss, and since we're aiming for the no-hit achievement, this took a lot of trial and error. Eventually, we reach a point where we fight one of them normally, without the pressure of the climb. But that's just the beginning. After that, we climb again, and this time another boss joins the chase. Even with checkpoints, the pressure is real. Eventually, we face both of them together in a proper fight. Thankfully, with our leg huggers and war owl, we're not completely helpless. It's still tough though, and we take a lot of hits and reload plenty of times. Then comes the final phase, where all 3 bosses are chasing us at once. And yeah, this is where it gets really intense. Now we're dealing with 3 bosses simultaneously, and it's chaos. Even with checkpoints, this took a lot of retries. Little by little, we start taking them down. First, the one with the mace falls, which makes things slightly easier. Then the archer goes down. Finally, the last one is left alone against all of us, and he eventually falls too. And with that, the lighthouse is complete. We unlock Firefighter for beating the area and Unwavering Loyalty for doing it without taking any damage. We also obtain the Flawless Servant Outfit blueprint, which has its own achievement that we'll work on later. At the Collector, we also invest ourselves into unlocking the Servant Outfit. We unlock the Bloodblade, which we'll be using for the next fight. The reason we switch weapons here is to maximize the damage of our leg huggers. They deal critical hits when attacking bleeding enemies, and since the Bloodblade inflicts bleed with every hit, the synergy is perfect. We also adjust our mutations, and with everything set, it's time to face the Queen. Reaching the crown unlocks a sparkle in the night, and just ahead waits the Queen. Right at the start of the fight, we immediately get hit. Not a great start. She has some really cool attacks, like Reality Slash, where she rises up and cuts through space itself. There's also a unique mechanic where if we die while she's above 50% health, she revives us, loses some of her own health, and continues the fight. It's actually a really interesting boss design. After a lot of attempts and plenty of checkpoint reloads, we finally managed to take her down. And with that, we unlock the Queen outfit, along with Her Majesty for defeating her and Lilibet for doing it without taking any damage. Now for this run, we switch to the Servant outfit to work toward an achievement tied to beating the lighthouse while wearing it. We'll deal with the Queen outfit later too. For now, the main goal is to complete all 3 achievements related to the Mushroom Boy. Since we've unlocked the Hunter's Grenade, we can finally guarantee the blueprint. So we head to the Arboretum, use the grenade on a Mushroom Boy, and extract the blueprint. With that secured, we unlock Mushroom Boy and immediately make him explode, earning the Bound for Hell achievement. Of course, we reload a checkpoint right after so we can still go for the achievement that requires finishing a run without detonating him. Next, we move on to the Morass of the Banished. This time, our goal is to sacrifice the Mushroom Boy at the altar, which lets us skip the Mama Tick boss fight. After doing that, we unlock Pact with the Devil. And once again, we reload a checkpoint so we can continue the run normally, and zap Mama Tick anyway. From there, we head into the Fractured Shrines. Our objective here is to find another pet. Along the way, we pick up a legendary barrel launcher that fires 3 bombs instead of 1. This thing is insanely strong, so we end up using it for the rest of the run. After a bit of searching, we find a hidden island using invisible platforms. After defeating the Guardian, we free a new pet called Serenade. Now, for another achievement, we need to summon Serenade alongside another pet to trigger a special interaction. At first, we tried it with Mushroom Boy, but nothing happened. We even tested in the passages, and still nothing. So I figure it might be because we're trying to preserve the Don't Explode Mushroom Boy condition. To fix this, we reload a checkpoint, swap Mushroom Boy out for Maria's cat, and try again. This time, it works. Serenade immediately tries to attack the cat, which thankfully dodges. And we unlock the Me, Jealous achievement. After that, we reload again and continue the run with Mushroom Boy. With the barrel launcher, we're basically one-shotting everything all the way to the clock room. After beating the Timekeeper, we meet Alucard again, and this time he tells us that this is the real Dracula's castle. That means we'll be fighting Dracula himself instead of Death. So instead of going to the lighthouse for the outfit achievement, we decide to save that for later and head straight to the castle. This version of the level has some changes. Dracula occasionally interferes by spawning enemies, turning some into elites, and even flipping the screen upside down. We also pick up the throwing axe blueprint along the way, another weapon with achievement tied to it. After some exploration, we encounter Medusa as a mini-boss, who gets completely destroyed by our barrel launcher. We grab the petrified key and make our way to the Master's Key. This time, we're not dragged away by death and safely reach the area, unlocking What is a Man? Achievement. At the entrance, we meet Alucard and Richter. For a moment, it feels like they might help us, but no. Alucard makes it clear that we have to face Dracula alone. So here we go.
Follow me.
During the fight, we notice that our barrel launcher can actually backfire if its projectiles collide with enemy attacks, which makes things a bit risky. Still, after learning his patterns and pushing through, we manage to defeat him. Unlocking You Don't Belong in This World achievement. But then, the fight isn't over. The arena starts shaking, and Dracula transforms into his final form. Now he's firing lasers and summoning meteors, turning the fight into complete chaos. Overpowered barrel launcher and plenty of checkpoint retries, we eventually bring him down. This unlocks another ending, along with See You in 100 Years for defeating him and Honorary Belmont for doing it without taking any damage. We also unlock the Vampire Killer Blueprint, another weapon tied to an achievement, and finally, we complete our last Mushroom Boy objective by finishing the run without detonating him, earning Who's the Good Boy achievement. Now for this run, we'll be completing the Servant Outfit achievement this time. We also stumbled upon a challenge rift here in the prison quarters. These are short optional levels filled with traps that reward us with a chest containing a lot of cells and a scroll. Of course, we have to complete this one for an achievement. And after a bit of platforming, we unlock C. That wasn't so hard now, was it? For successfully completing a challenge rift. We also grab the Hunter's Grenade again to unlock more blueprints tied with achievements. In the Toxic Sewers, we got a legendary knockback shield from an elite enemy. This shield knocks enemies back even further when we parry, and we'll be using it later to push the queen into the void for another achievement. After the toxic sewers, we move on to a new biome, the corrupted prison, unlocking Don't Touch Anything. This level starts with a cursed chest, and aside from that, it's a very short biome. After clearing it, we make our way to the insufferable crypt to fight Conjunctivius for the third time. After defeating it, we finally got the cursed sword blueprint. There's an achievement for finishing the game with this weapon, so the plan is to unlock it right before the final boss since, as the name suggests, it's cursed. Doing it this way will save us time rather than using it normally on a run. Sadly, we won't be using it in combat during this run, but we'll use it later. After the boss fight, we head to the infested shipwreck with the scavenged bombard. The achievement for this weapon is to kill a pirate captain with it, and this biome has plenty of them. While we're here, we also use the extractor on a mutineer and obtain the Maw of the Deep blueprint, another weapon tied to an achievement. Shortly after, we kill a pirate captain using the scavenged bombard and unlock the Black Flag achievement. From there, we move on to the lighthouse and begin the climb. Aside from finishing this biome with the servant outfit, we also aim to obtain the Wrecking Ball blueprint. To do that, we need to defeat Calliope last during the final fight against the 3 bosses. Since there's no pressure about taking hits this time, we push through the level more aggressively. We're sitting at around 35 brutality, which explains the massive damage. I'm not entirely sure what happened to Clea there, but anyway, after making sure Calliope is the last one alive, we got the Wrecking Ball blueprint. We also got the infiltration achievement for finishing the lighthouse with the servant outfit. Now it's time to unlock the cursed sword so we can get the achievement for finishing a run with it. Just by carrying the cursed sword in our backpack, its curse is still active. So we drop it for now while we lower the queen's health. Even the queen can't handle our damage, and we bring her HP down pretty quickly. Now that her health is low, the goal is to parry her into the void. This is easier said than done. We'll know we did it correctly if the ending plays immediately after she falls. During our attempts, we accidentally unlock I Like to Live Dangerously for finishing a run with the cursed sword. I was hoping to get both achievements at once, but since that didn't happen, we just focus on pushing her into the void. After several attempts, we still couldn't get it right. Honestly, this would have been easier with a weapon that has knockback instead of a shield. But we committed to this. With enough retries, it's only a matter of time. And there we go. The ending plays immediately after she falls into the void, which means we finally did it. We unlock Long Live the Queen for defeating the queen by pushing her into the void. Now for our next run. The goal this time is to defeat the queen while wearing the queen outfit and beat her using the killing deck to unlock 2 achievements at once. That's why we grab the hunter's grenade again, so we can extract the killing deck blueprint from an armored shrimp in the infested shipwreck. Along the way, we also go for a few specific achievements. First, we use the 3rd attack of the Maw of the Deep in Water to unlock Put That Thing Back Where It Came From or So Help Me. Next, we use the hand hook to throw enemies into spikes, unlocking Plank Walk. We also visit the prison depths for the first time and unlock It Rubs the Lotion on its skin. This level is similar to the corrupted prison, short, and starts with a cursed chest. After that, we attempt another achievement, killing 5 enemies at once using a single throw and recall of the Wrecking Ball. It has a slow 4-hit combo that deals massive damage, the 3rd attack throws the ball, and the 4th recalls it. We're running the Vengeance mutation, which increases damage and reduces incoming damage after getting hit, along with the Tainted Flask, which boosts our damage after using a flask. So naturally, we thought this would be easy. We gather a group of enemies, perform the combo, and take them all out, but no achievement. We tried it a few more times, and still nothing. So we do a bit of research and find out that we're not supposed to take any damage during the first 2 swings. With that in mind, we try again, execute it cleanly this time, and finally unlock the spare achievement. After that, we head to the infested shipwreck, extract the killing deck blueprint from an armored shrimp, and now it's time to face the queen. The killing deck is a ranged 4-hit combo that recalls its cards and deals critical hits. Since we've already used up most of our flasks during earlier fights, We took advantage of the Queen's mechanic where she heals us if we die while she's still above 50% health. We also didn't expect her to be able to stop projectiles and send them back at us, which luckily we can parry it back. Eventually, we take her down, and with that, we unlock on Her Majesty's Secret Service for beating her while wearing the Queen outfit, and Full House for defeating her using the killing deck. Now for this run, our goal is to complete all the remaining achievements related to Castlevania. That includes beating Dracula's final form using the Vampire Killer, killing a werewolf with a throwing axe, and hitting the same enemy with orbiting Bibles. First, we need to extract a blueprint from a werewolf to get the Bible. After that, we manage to kill a werewolf using the throwing axe, unlocking Can You Stop Moving Please? We've also been using the Cursed Sword, paired with Vengeance and Face Flask. The Face Flask deals a bit of damage to us, but it doesn't trigger death by curse or break our kill streak. However, it does activate Vengeance, which boosts our damage significantly. That's why we're dealing massive damage, but of course, we're still setting checkpoints every few minutes because, well, we always find a way to get hit. After getting the key from Medusa, who managed to kill us a few times with her unexpected petrifying gaze, we move on to the fight against Dracula, this time bringing both the Vampire Killer and the Bible. We fight him using the Bible, tanking some of his attacks, and after taking him down, we move on to his final form. During the fight, we use the Bible to lower his health and unlock knowledge as power for hitting the same enemy with 5 orbiting Bibles. Once his health is low enough, we finish him off using the Vampire Killer and unlock does what it says on the tin can. After that run, we finally tried out a daily challenge. It's a time-limited level with a different map every day, where the goal is to earn as many points as possible and defeat the boss before time runs out. Nothing too special happens during the run except for this. Also, we're not aiming for a high score or leaderboard placement. We just complete it normally and unlock faster than light. For finishing a daily challenge. And now, gamers, this is the final run. There are 5 achievements left, and we'll be completing all of them in this last run. We are now activating 5 boss stem cells, and with it comes no flask charges at passages, increased enemy detection, and finally, the malaise mechanic. The malaise is described as a virus that has been infecting the island within the Dead Cells world and is the main cause of the current state of the island and its inhabitants. This mechanic is introduced at 5 boss stem cells. It is a meter that increases over time and comes with different tiers that activate various effects. Malaise can be reduced by killing enemies, elites, bosses, and by using certain items. So in short, the higher the malaise, the more dangerous things get, which means we need to clear levels quickly. It discourages slow gameplay and encourages fast, aggressive play. As you can see, we're wearing the classic outfit again because it feels appropriate to finish the game with this look. We also brought the Hunter's Grenade again and extracted the Lightning Rod blueprint from a failed homunculus found in the Undying Shores. Then we used the lightning rods in water to electrify an enemy and unlock Pool Party. After that, I went straight to the throne room and beat the Hand of the King. And of course, he didn't stand a chance. Now it's time to open the 5 boss stem cell door. In the passage, the collector was replaced by someone else, which is kinda confusing but okay. Then we unlocked Death's Side, a weapon that summons the spirits of defeated enemies to fight for us and explode on nearby targets. After that, we move on to the Astrolab, where we unlock Life on the Edge achievement for reaching this place for the first time. This level contains some weird and dangerous enemies, but thankfully, they didn't stand a chance against our current weapon. In this level, we need to collect a series of keys by defeating elite enemies. The elite failed experiment drops the elevator key, which we got right away, and the Allen key comes from the elite slammer. This key allows us to reach a room where 2 elite slammers are waiting. After getting both keys, we roam around a bit more to find the area, but we end up on the top of this building, which at the time I didn't know was the wrong area to enter. So I went down to the bottom of the structure. Thankfully, the Explorer rune activated and revealed the full layout. From there, I went back and forth and we found the correct path. Used the Allen key, cleared a heavily trapped section. And then used the elevator key to go up and defeat the 2 elite slammers. After collecting both keys dropped from the elite enemies, we move on to the passage leading to the final boss. I didn't expect that there would be no NPC functioning as the collector here because I was planning to adjust my gear. So instead, I reforged my balanced blade into a 2x multiplier, which I will use for the final fight. For mutations, I kept Combo and Vengeance, but replaced Tainted Flask with one that reduces cooldown on critical hits. For gear, I used the Face Flask to trigger Vengeance consistently, along with a legendary Scarecrow Sickles that fires 4 projectiles instead of 2. With that, it's time to enter the observatory, unlocking Stargazing achievement for reaching this place for the first time. After taking the elevator and crossing the bridge, we meet the collector again. He reveals his plan to create the panacea using all the cells we collected, a cure meant to fix everything. He also reveals his true identity as the alchemist. He asks us to deposit the cells into the catalyst, attempting one final experiment to cure the malaise and save both the island and himself. After drinking the panacea, it actually worked, but it drove him insane. Now he wants more power and more cells, and the only way to get them is from us. As the fight begins, I immediately set a checkpoint. Since it's my first time fighting him, I got hit a lot. His spinning and syringe attacks are manageable, but I didn't expect him to drink the potion again and restore all his health. After that, he teleports both of us into another area with 3 enemies. I killed them quickly and dealt some damage and forced him to drink the potion and teleport us again. In the next area, I encounter his beam attacks, which require precise timing to dodge. I got hit multiple times here and kept reloading checkpoints. During these attempts, I managed to force him to drink another potion in this phase. And then he teleports us once more. Now we're in the final area. I set another checkpoint. This is where I struggled the most because he uses every attack in his arsenal. For some reason, I also deal less damage here compared to the earlier phases. long fight, I force him to try and drink the potion again, but this time he fails and drops it. I pick up the potion and continue the fight. At this point, I didn't really think much of it. I assumed it would just heal me like a normal flask, so I held onto it for a while. The fight kept going, and I was confused why I was dealing so little damage. I managed to bring his health down to around 50% before finally using the potion. And suddenly, everything changed. The damage boost from the panacea was insane. I melted his remaining health in just a few hits, ending the fight almost instantly. Then a short dialogue plays between the collector and the beheaded. After that, we kick his head a few times. And just like that, we finally defeat the true final boss. We unlock I Don't Step on Toes for beating the collector and nothing left to collect for doing it without taking any damage. A short animation plays where the beheaded seems ready to die because of the panacea. But of course, he survives. And with that, we finally unlocked all 121 achievements in the game. This journey is complete. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and please subscribe. I'll see you in the next game.